Welcome back. Just gone 7:30. We talk today. We'll have the papers in just a moment. But here is what else is coming up on this morning's programme.
Hundreds, as you've been hearing, could have their post office convictions overturned this year. We're going to bring you all the latest at 8:10 this morning.
Botched foreign surgeries cost the British health service nearly £2 million in 2022. At 8:45, we'll talk to a woman who was left needing life-saving surgery on the NHS.
And Admiral Lord West has hit out at Grant Shapps, the Defence Secretary, for comments that Shapps made, says that he sounded like he was asking the Royal Marines to justify why they exist. Lord West himself will be here at 9:20.
Writer and broadcaster Emma Wolfe, journalist James Thorpe, back to look through this morning's papers. And we should say hello to Nicola Thorpe, who's at home watching this with her baby. Why are you not in bed? Bless her, Arch.
Maybe they are. Maybe they are.
Hope you're doing well, Nick. Where are we going to start this morning? Emma, HS2. Oh, God.
More
honestly.
fun news.
So it was going to go, in basic layman's terms, it was going to go from London to Manchester because we're going to level up. We're going to open up those northern towns because this entire world is London-centric, right? Such a great idea. Doesn't happen, costs too much money. But what's going to happen is we're going to go to Birmingham.
Yeah, let's spend billions.
Hold on. Where the result of spending probably 10 more billion quid, about 80 in total, is it will now take you 12 minutes less to get from Birmingham to London. How does that help anybody?
Literally. I mean, yeah, it's going to cost nearly 67 billion now to do this London to Birmingham jolly. As you say, cutting a few minutes off. And probably, given the state of our trains, I really doubt that it'll actually be that 12 minutes, that crucial 12 minutes that everybody needs. So, yeah, I mean, they've been talking to the Transport Select Committee, and the Transport Select Committee have been hearing from politicians. Basically, the estimates were poor, the budgets were set too early, there wasn't enough information. Labour's shadow Transport Secretary Louise Haigh has been saying that Rishi Sunak's, it was his weak leadership, it's his total mismanagement of HS2. As you say, the cost is soaring by another £10 billion, and that was originally from an estimate of 17 billion. Now we're nearly up to 67 billion. I mean, it's a farce.
And they've already cut that leg off to try and speed things up and keep the costs down. James,
things up.
You ask why it is. Why are we useless at actually devising these plans and then executing them on any kind of reasonable time frame?
Yeah, I'm not sure, because it's been something that's plagued various governments over recent decades. So there's been kind of similar, well, not similar, but big IT scandals where they've tried to introduce
NHS.
Yeah, NHS IT, and the costs have spiraled, and there have been, it's been botched. And this seems HS2 has been another kind of white elephant. It's been the cost 4 times as much as it was originally planned. The line is truncated, so now it's only going to Birmingham, which kind of misses the point about the whole northern powerhouse. And also, bosses of HS2 are now telling MPs that trains will have to be shorter because it's only going to Birmingham, which means fewer seats on the trains in the first place.
And I want to know about the money, right, that they're supposed to save by truncating it and saying it's not going beyond Birmingham, because I would have thought, and I'll be slaughtered for saying this, Birmingham to Manchester is far more important than London to Birmingham, but nobody seems to grasp that. That money, we talk about potholes, we talk about appalling transport systems and roads. We're talking about the towns in the north. Yes, there is a country, you Londoners, north of Watford Gap. These people, these businesses, that's what levelling up was supposed to be about.
That's exactly what... many people in the north are. It's not just you, Jeremy. Many are angry about the fact that they're almost completely forgotten that the investment isn't there, that these projects don't happen. East-west as well. It's not just, down
across the Pennines, all that.
Exactly, across the Pennines. That's a major issue. And, this is 67 billion now. It'll go higher. This will go higher. Why are we rubbish at infrastructure, engineering, anything to do with potholes, roads, transport in this country?
To me, it's a bit like Rwanda. Honestly,
Red herring.
You're sticking your head in this. It's going to cost more and more and have absolutely no impact. Well, I don't understand it.
The money saved from scrapping that second leg was supposed to be redistributed across the country.
Transport North, or was it North Transport?
Yeah. But, James, if HS2 is spiralling the costs again by another 10... I think we've gotten used to the number, £10 billion. How can we do that with any credibility?
Yeah, I mean, it just has to be finished now, because they're going to pay whatever it takes to finish what they've set out to do. But I think, in the aftermath of Brexit, there was this national conversation that we need to do more for these left behind towns, particularly in the north of England. That's how we get the economy growing. That's how we get productivity up. is to fix transportation infrastructure in some of these left behind places. And it just feels like that's completely dropped off the agenda now. And I think that's a huge shame.
I'd be really interested to know, and not making it political, but I'd like to know what happens if and when the Labour Party get into power. Are they committed to seeing this through? Are they going to cancel it? Because I guess everybody's got to a point where we spent 65 billion.
And
what's another 10?
You've dug up half the country as well. I mean, there's huge,
load of rubbish, man.
disruption
they have to finish
around
it. I mean,
London.
yeah, they have to finish
It's embarrassing, actually, isn't it?
Utterly embarrassing.
James, Times, page 11. This is a very interesting story about the Oscars.
Yeah, so Stars have branded Oscars rules on diversity anti-Semitic. So what it is there's certain rules around the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences have made rules in 2020 which require productions to feature what it considers unrepresented groups. So that includes people of racial and ethnic minorities, people Asian, Hispanic, Black or Native American. However, religious groups are not considered. And Jewish groups are saying this is anti-Semitic because being a Jew it's an ethnic group as well as a religion. Yet they're not being included. So you have at the moment, rules around representation for, say, black actors, gay actors, but then there's nothing around Jewish actors. Whereas Jewish groups and people are saying that, this isn't fair. At a time when anti-Semitic incidents are at an all-time high, Jews do face discrimination in certain walks of life. But these kind of rules don't account for that. In the same way that we have rules sometimes in this country on inclusion, which, again, leave Jews out. David Baddiel wrote a book, I think it was called Jews Don't Count. Also, white working-class kids are often ignored when it comes on into diversity rulings. So this is kind of an example of that.
Interesting.
Well, part of me feels this is just yet more division and more kind of segregation and more people saying that we need special representation. But no, of course it's right. Of course everyone should be represented. I mean, it's less visible, isn't it? It's less visibly kind of, you're not saying we need to include black people, we need to include just so many.
There is a sort of irony of the Oscars trying to say we're going to properly reflect, society, because, it's impossible for them to be able to do that. Clearly, if there are shortfalls in the rules they put in place, that should be addressed, but it's almost an impossible problem they're trying to fix.
Because how do you feature everybody? How do you give everybody a voice? It would just be nice if people were, judged on the content of the character rather than the colour of their skin or where they worship or who they love.
The minute you start trying to do the right thing, you are not going to, please all the people all the time. Talking about not pleasing all the people all the time, the Donald. James, the Times, the Donald's luxury Scottish golf resort, which is at Turnberry, by the way, has made a profit for the first time in the former US president's decade of ownership. Tremendous golf course. Why is this an important story?
Because one of Donald Trump's companies has actually made a real profit. And
he's already said it made 500 million. That's what he's saying on his.
Yeah, I mean, though it did lose 3.7 million the year before.
Yeah.
I guess this is a revelation because Donald Trump's in the US at the moment. He's in trouble in New York for apparently falsifying his accounts and pretending that his companies were more profitable than they actually were. I guess it's good news for Scotland. But it's, again, his company's made a huge loss. It's just this 1 year they've made a pre-tax profit of $500,000 to offset a loss of 3.7 million the year before. So
it's going to be quite interesting watching the press. There was stuff over the weekend saying Donald Trump is anti-NATO, he's anti-Europe, he's anti-Ukraine. Every time they attack him, whatever your political persuasion, you just think, well, he's going to get more traction, and actually they're getting more terrified by the day, aren't they? They are.
It's going to be a fascinating year in the American elections. Ours are a bit depressing.
What a choice.
Already,
a senile 82-year-old and a man who could be in prison. This is your favourite one. I've got a surprise for you.
Well, I don't know. Well, it's not that surprising. We've had a very dutiful Mikey standing.
Come, Mikey, I don't care about... Forget all the people say, oh, you've got to walk. You can walk straight across in front of the camera. Our wonderful, wonderful floor manager, Mikey, who's called Beckham for a reason. What is that? Greg,
have a little look in here.
She said, I've never had a stick, Vic.
No, I didn't say it like that.
That's how it came.
And we've got... Is anyone a vegetarian here?
Are these vegan sausage rolls?
Oh, there's so many.
Right, what we got?
Greg's, OK.
Yeah.
Are you Greg's fans?
I'm vegetarian.
Yeah, I think they're good. I think Greg's is good.
Greg's is good. Greg's is going global.
Yeah.
Do you want a steak bake or a sausage roll?
This is a brilliant...
I'll take the sausage roll away.
OK, right.
Thank you.
So, Greg...
So they're going global?
They're going really global. We talk about,
I'm just going to have a sausage roll. James, just eat it. Let the girls talk.
And also, we also talk about the fact that it's that often grab-and-go type food that's been struggling. There's been... at the train station, people are more inclined now to bring a packed lunch because they're saying, I've got budgets to be thinking about. So you would expect it's a business like this that's struggling. Quite the opposite.
No, they're doing brilliantly. Did you know Greggs actually have 1,000 more outlets than McDonald's?
Wow.
I mean, they are doing really, really well. They've reached sales up to 1.8 billion. OK, it's not HS2 levels, but 1.8 billion this year. Every £2 of 100 quid in UK hospitality, every 2 quid of that is spent in Greggs. And they're now looking into...
That's incredible.
Yeah, that is incredible. Every 2 quid of the £100 on UK hospitality spent in this country is spent in Greggs.
It's amazing. And can I actually salute the person who comes up with the banners? Go forth and multi-pie.
Multi-pie. It was the headline. It was the headline.
Salute whoever wrote that.
So we've had such a shift to not having processed food, to eating healthily.
Do you know why? It's comfort food. A sausage roll, £1.25. It has gone up, £1.25. People love it.
They also sell sandwiches and stuff. I mean, it's not just pasties and stuff. They also sell quite good sandwiches.
And salad, she says, at 7:30 if you're steak bake.
Salad. I think this is a kick in the teeth as well for all these stupid organic edamame beans kind of places around me in Shoreditch that I go to.
Hot sausage roll on a winter's morning or some edamame beans. Do one.
Yeah, so they're going into Europe, but they're going to start in Spain, probably, because of the expat community who want their Greggs.
Wow.
And they don't want to start in France because of all the beautiful boulangerie with the croissant and everything.
Now, I've just been told by John, he's a bit lefty, and this is really... And I'll tell you why. He says some of these are vegan sausage rolls. So my wife bought me a vegan sausage roll the other day without telling me, and I ate it. And she said, "Did you enjoy that?" I said, "It's nice." She said, "See, idiot, it's vegan." So I mean, this could well be a vegan.
We'll get you on a bike next.
I think you're actually eating the vegan one there.
How do you know that?
Well, that just looks more meaty.
This is completely... Thought will be at home going, "Kyle's a vegan!"
You see, you don't even know the difference, so you can stop being abusive and we'll get you.
Well, actually, the next one's really interesting in the Mirror then. James, Scrappy New Year. This is great. Cash-strapped people are ditching old-fashioned January resolutions like joining the gym or giving up alcohol. With 30% of people surveyed blaming costs, but they're not giving up Greggs sausage roll.
Yeah, it's so I mean, yeah, the Greggs story is an example of how kind of not budget retail, but like Lidl's and Aldi are doing very well compared to the other supermarkets, compared to the high street. People are. I mean, we're in a cost of living crisis. Inflation's been high for 2 years, and people are New Year's resolutions. They're ditching some of them, like gym memberships, because of the cost. I mean, a lot of people here are saying the most common reason among those polled was people are cash strapped. They can't afford to do things like join a gym, which memberships can be quite expensive. Those are the first things that they're kind of sacrificing. And also Christmas shopping, Christmas sales shopping, people have also given up, again, because they're finding it, people's budgets are tight this year. I mean, there are people who are really struggling.
Yeah. I'm struggling to speak, so hang on.
Do you feel like you've looked, maybe as a household or as an individual, to say, actually, our spending power's been reduced? I mean, I'm making decisions.
I mean, my personal income is soaring. Everything is rosy.
Everything's great.
Everything's great.
Nannies, babysitters, cars, everything.
Or would you be one of those people who says, actually, I'm not going to shop at Marks and Spencer's?
Oh, I'm happy to go to Lidl, Aldi, M&S, anywhere, Waitrose, anywhere. But yeah, you do notice a difference in all of them. I don't think there's any kind of shame or stigma in that.
I think that's gone, by the way, on a serious note.
Yeah.
I think
because you can get great olive oil in Aldi and Lidl.
No, but I actually genuinely... to cook you. Yeah. I genuinely think people from all walks of life, actually, not across many of the classes, as they would say, have had to understand that it's difficult, be it mortgage rates, be it the cost of living, and have had to make allowances.
Or people are just being more careful.
But also, I think the things
But I think they weren't, Rosie, for years. I think people took out credit. We can have a debate about that, but I think people are being more studious in what they're doing.
But I think what we notice is things like your energy and your heating bills, those things that are coming in and that you sort of, you have them on direct debit or whatever, and you go, whoa, that is double what it was last year. Things like food prices where you go, a pint of milk used to be £1, now it's £1.50. You do notice things like that.
Going out, I've noticed going out has got a lot more expensive. So going to the pub, I bought like a pint and a bottle of and a glass of wine, and it was £14. Whereas
14 quid,
14 quid for a large glass of wine and a pint.
Was 7p.
And you can go...
I remember when the bus was like 30 pence.
Yeah, and you can go to like Aldi or something and buy a good bottle of wine for like £9. So it just makes you less inclined to go out, I think.
We were talking about that yesterday, hospitality, particularly nightlife, is really struggling. And we were saying, how much it costs to get into these places and then buy the drinks and then the pubs. And yeah, you're right, particularly in January, maybe we are thinking a little bit more about, have that bottle of wine at home instead.
Emma and James, thank you. I've quite obviously eaten a vegan sausage roll, which has made Wolfie very happy. How did you, for the first time in your life, find your Greggs steak bake?
I loved it, actually. I've left it there because I'd like to eat it in in the ads rather than have it taken away. So, yeah, I'd like to...
I'm going to have another sausage roll and we can continue. Are we continuing the food theme in a minute?
We are, because a furious row...
What, your pudding is Quality Street?
Yes.
Yeah, it's going really well. It's really healthy, isn't it, for January, this? Steak, bacon, Quality Street, whilst doing TV shows.
Oh, but you've given up alcohol, so it's all OK.
Yeah, no, I've started again. I completed 10 days.
Good. No, it's better for you.
A row over the wrappers on our Quality Street. A furious woman went online to complain, but does packaging actually affect your sense of taste?
I didn't know about this. I completely agree with her. It's a disgrace. This is Talk Today. Don't go anywhere. We're going to do Quality Street next. We're coming right back.